Okay, so we're going to talk about a theorem that's going to make a connection between continuous functions and sequences and the use of L'Hopital's rule to find limits. So let's suppose that f of x is a function that's defined, function defined for all x greater than some value. We'll call that n sub naught, and that the sequence, the terms of the sequence a sub n agree with the terms of the function. So it's a sequence of real numbers such that a sub n equals f of n for after a certain point in our sequence. So what we're saying here is, let's suppose that we have a function and we have a sequence, and for positive terms and for all real numbers after a certain point, the sequence and the function agree with each other. Then if the limit of the function as n approaches infinity is some value L, I guess I should say as x approaches infinity, then the limit of the sequence will be the same, right? So in other words, hey, I have a function and a sequence that agree after a certain point, their values agree with each other. Then if I take the limit of the function, that will be the same as the limit of the sequence. For example, let's suppose we have the sequence natural log n over n. And we want to determine whether the sequence converges or not. And so we're going to look at the function as x approaches infinity of natural log x over x, over x for values of x that are greater than 1. Right? So after a certain point. And so we're just saying, hey, the sequence is discrete, and the function is continuous. However, they are the same at those discrete values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to use the function and use what we know about limits of functions to find the limit of the sequence. So here, right, we have an infinity over infinity problem, so we can apply L'Hopital's rule for functions, which tells us we can take the derivative, because we don't know how to take the derivatives of discrete things, but we know how to take the derivative of continuous things, of the numerator and of the denominator, find that limit, which is 0, and that will also be the limit of the sequence, just because they are the same, right? The sequence and the function match up for values of n. So we know here that this sequence will converge to 0. Basically, everything that I'm saying here is that you can use L'Hopital's rule with sequences. So let's look at another example. And let's determine whether the following sequence converges or not. So let's say we have n plus 1 over n minus 1 to the nth power. And I want to know whether this thing converges or not. So if we look at what's going on here as n gets really, really large, we have an indeterminate form, because if we look at n approaches infinity of n plus 1 over n minus 1 to the n, we have infinity over infinity to the infinity. That is as indeterminate as it gets. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to focus on the function. We're going to look at the limit as x approaches infinity of of x plus 1 over x minus 1 to the x, and we're going to apply L'Hopital's rule at some point. But you might remember this from Calculus 1, where I can take the natural log of this expression and then undo that later on. So let me make a note over here on the side that any function f of x can be written as e to the natural log of f of x, because e and natural log are inverse functions, so this is equivalent. So if I take the limit as x approaches infinity of f of x, that's the same thing as taking the limit as x approaches infinity of e to the natural log of f of x. Now, since e is a continuous function, I can take that limit inside of the function, figure out what that limit is of the natural log of f of x, and then apply e to get the actual limit of the function. So that's our strategy. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the limit as x approaches infinity, apply the natural log, and you'll see why we're doing this. So I'm going to do this part, take the limit of this, see what I get, and then raise e to that power that will undo the natural log. Now, the reason the natural log is needed here is because we have a variable in the exponent. And what the natural log will allow us to do is bring that x in front of the logarithm using a log property. And that's helpful because I can now write this as a ratio so that we can apply L'Hopital's rule. Right, so I can leave the natural log in the numerator. Oops, I keep doing this, sorry. Natural log of x plus 1 over x minus 1. And if I want to move this x to the denominator, I can move it to the denominator as 1 over x. Dividing by 1 over x is the same as multiplying by x. Now, if you notice, as x gets really big, the denominator goes to 0, and the natural log of, well, then I have an infinity over infinity in here. So we've got, I don't know, a very indeterminate form, I guess. So I'm going to apply L'Hopital's rule and see what happens here. So let's see, we're going to apply L'Hopital's rule and rewrite this limit as the limit as x approaches infinity. Now we have to take derivatives of the numerator and denominator. The derivative of the natural log is 1 over x, which means we're going to take the reciprocal of that because it's 1 over. So the derivative is going to be, the derivative of the outside is 1 over whatever's there, so x minus 1 over x plus 1. I still have to multiply this by the derivative of the inside, and in the inside I'm going to use the quotient rule. So low d high, right? So x minus 1 times the derivative of the numerator minus high d low over the denominator squared. That's the derivative of the inside. I know this is crazy. Divided by the derivative of 1 over x is negative 1 over x squared. Well, what happens here? This x minus 1 cancels with one of these x minus 1s. In the numerator over here, this is, let me do it in a green color. This is x minus 1 times 1 minus x minus 1. So in the numerator here, I have a negative 2. So we've got limit as x approaches infinity. What I have in the numerator is a negative 2 over, I have an x plus 1 here times an x minus 1. So this is x plus 1 times x minus 1 over negative 1 over x squared. Okay, so this will be positive because negative 2 divided by negative 1 is positive 2. So this is going to be a 2. Dividing by 1 over x squared is the same thing as multiplying by x squared. So we'll have a 2x squared over x plus 1 times x minus 1 is x squared minus 1. We have the same power numerator and denominator, so this just goes to the number 2, the ratio of the coefficients. Now remember, we worked on this part on the inside, so I still have to raise e squared to get our actual limit. And so this is the limit of our sequence because it's the limit of the function that agrees with our sequence. So then we would say that our sequence converges, and the sequence converges, so our sequence, which looked like n plus 1 over n minus 1 to the nth power, converges to e squared. It converges because this is a finite number. Okay, so we can use L'Hopital's rule. Now you'll be watching 3 short videos on commonly occurring limits that will be really important for you to take a look at and to learn some of them. I think the most important one, let me highlight the most important limit that you'll need to know, is that commonly occurring limits, all of these, many of these can be proven by L'Hopital's rule, is that the limit as n approaches infinity of x to the n is 0 if x in absolute value is less than 1. What does this say? Well, it says that if x is 2, right, then let's suppose that x is 2. That's greater than 1. Our sequence would be 2 to the 0 is 1, then 2, then 2 squared is 4, then 2 cubed is 8, then 2 to the 4th is 16, and so on. That will diverge. But if x is a half, things change, right? If x is, so that would give us the sequence 1, 1 half, 1 fourth, 1 eighth, 1 16th. This changes because we have x less than 1, and so that sequence, as n gets really, really large, will tend to 0. And we have this limit as long as x is between -1 and 1. That's what this says, -1 less than x less than 1, and we have convergence of the series. Now that's very abbreviated. In the commonly occurring limits, I will go much more in depth on that limit. That's very important. And this ends section 9.1.